Peace, y'all. I'm going to wait for a few people to come in. But today I decided I wanted to do a video because I haven't been doing a video. I haven't done a live, maybe almost a week now, maybe 2 weeks. But I don't like getting on live without something of value to talk about. I don't really like wasting my time or people's time. So I was at the office today and I was looking up some information about the products that I sell. And so, if you don't know, let me tell you that my name is Latoriea Q. I am a certified transformation coach with a company called New Extracts. New Extracts is an advanced biologics company in which they sell quantum microcirculation nutrition. So I'm going to dive into that in just a minute. I'm going to show you some of my screen. I'm going to show you some content for that. But I like sharing with people how to heal themselves from within. It's not just about what you're experiencing, but it's also ultimately what are you putting in your body and what are you using it for. Oftentimes people use food as a weapon for themselves, or they use it to cope, or you may have different things going on within yourself, which is already causing you tension. And in that, I share with people how to not only have a healthy system in the sense of their physical being, but their mental health and ultimately their spiritual well-being is wrapped up in that. So, anywho, I wanted to know more about the research in the products that I started taking. So, with that, this is right here, New Extracts. And I'm going to talk about that in a second because there's 50 years of research. And the research team that created this product they won a Nobel Peace Prize. And I want to know, what was the Nobel Peace Prize for? So that's what I'm looking up today. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Here we go. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining. I'm getting ready to show you a video. So I'm really wanting to go down the rabbit hole. Hey, peace. Thank you for joining me today. I really want to go down the rabbit hole of the quantum cellular nutrition, which is the iHercules that I've been taking because, now that I know that they won a Nobel Peace Prize for this, I want to understand what part of the cell did they really go and research, what information did they learn, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you. So thank you for joining me. I see y'all just dropped in all of a sudden. I want y'all to watch this with me, okay? Here we go. Here we go. Wait. Just a second. Bluetooth connected. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Because we're going to deep dive today. I really want to understand this information, And y'all will understand why I'm going to go down this rabbit hole in about 2 minutes. But let's see. I haven't pressed play yet because I want the sound to be right. So give me a second. All right, here we go. I'm got my speaker out. I'm gonna get this right because I think this is some really good information that we're finna dive into. We're finna learn ourselves on a different kind of level, more of a chemistry level here now. We got our emotions. We understand our mental, but our physical is what we really don't understand about ourselves. Here we go. Hold on. Back to the. It's not that long.
Bluetooth disconnected.
My bad, y'all. I gotta have this sound right. Okay, here we go. Thank y'all for being so patient. Should be ready. Listen, y'all not gonna block it today. I know I'm on to something. If y'all don't know, I make AI content as well. But we're gonna go back. We're gonna watch. We're gonna find out how they got a Nobel Peace Prize. Let's see.
Our story begins in the aftermath of World War I, when the Spanish flu pandemic claimed 50 million lives. Desperate for answers, royal families turned to top scientists to uncover the root cause of illness and the effects of aging, using only the power of plants. For decades, this team of brilliant minds studied and isolated the highest frequency molecules from 44 of the most powerful healing plants on Earth. After 30 years of meticulous research, they achieved something miraculous. This breakthrough laid the foundation for discoveries that would later win Nobel Prizes in the 1950s, recognizing the vital role of nutrition and oxygen in the body.
I'm pausing it right here for a reason. If y'all just go with me down my rabbit hole, I'll appreciate it, because I know I'm not alone on this journey to understand why is it so powerful to have clean blood, and why it's such a big thing for them to poison us all the time with microplastics, metals, and all these things that change the frequency in our blood. And we're eating it willingly, voluntarily, because most of us aren't planning our things. I want to understand essentially the beginning of what do they know? That's what do they know? What do they know about me that I don't know about me? Because it's some reason that they keep putting things in our food to mess with us. Because if we understood our frequency, our energy, and our vibration, we would understand how we actually operate. We would understand how we actually function on a cellular level, on a circulation level, on an electromagnetic frequency level. That's what they got a Nobel Prize for, because they started to understand how do we work on a quantum level. Most of us weren't given that level of starting point to even get to where we having regular discussions of ourselves on quantum levels. Meaning, did you access the part of yourself that was having telepathy? Did you access the part of yourself that had cognitions and you could see things that nobody else saw, and you could see time in different ways? We don't have those conversations because we're blocked to have those conversations. But why are we being blocked? Here we go. I'm gonna keep going. Sorry.
Continues. In 1973, a special team of European scientists took this research even
We got
further.
Dr. Anna
They
Aslan.
documented and perfected a process to extract the most nutritious parts of each plant,
You gonna look
refining
her
it
up?
from over 150 million possible combinations. This led to the creation of iHercules, the most
iHercules.
advanced breakthrough in nutrition
If you've never heard me
available
talk
to
about
this
it, it's
point in
because
history.
I don't often talk about it. I want to give my own testimony before I even let this roll out. I had a hematoma and a concussion. I felt like I was being electrocuted for 3 months straight. Electrocuted. Meaning I would work. I'm a massage therapist and I still had to do my actual job. But I would go to my mother's house because I didn't want to die, because I felt like I was being electrocuted. My friend called me and said, "Have you heard that you can take a microcirculation blood cleaner and it should help you within 72 hours?" I took it from her. I was desperate. Desperate. The only thing that I was left to do is take pain meds. And if you know anything about me, I'm not taking no pain meds. I couldn't take the pain meds because I would never work again. I'd be an addict. Seriously. I know myself well enough. And I said, I'll take anything now to figure out if I can let this pain go. And when I realized that I needed to have open veins, I needed to have an open lymphatic system, and I needed to have an open digestive system. I had to have open systems or open circulation. I started taking this. Within 3 days, 72 hours, the pain was gone. But it's another thing I live by too. I live by grounding mats. I keep them here in the spa. I got to keep
To the bloodstream, bypassing common absorption issues. These formulas not only supports the body's internal systems, but also presents a new frontier in reverse biological aging. The story of this extraordinary super nutrition technology spread quietly among the elite and privileged, known as straight from God's garden. iHercules was trusted by adults, babies, pets, and animals alike. It was a safe, potent solution that enriched the blood, enhanced microcirculation, and targeted zombie cells, helping raise the frequencies of the body's immune system. As the elite experienced life-changing results, a visionary businessman saw an opportunity. His mission was clear: to bring this once exclusive technology to everyday people at affordable prices. The evolution continues. This visionary imagined a world where anyone could benefit from these technologies: iHercules, iRevive, and iHercules high-frequency eye patches, without needing to visit clinics or doctors. He dreamed of making these advanced formulas accessible, affordable, and available right at people's doorsteps. He connected with prestigious partners who could help his vision become a reality, and something new was born. These once secret formulas, now simply known as X, combined with the process to extract the high-frequency healing molecules, they put it all together, and new extracts was born. The evolution continues. Today, New Extracts champions 3 extraordinary products, each transforming the health and well-being of families worldwide. The global expansion has begun, and now you are the next phase of this remarkable journey. Are you ready to be part of the evolution?
All right. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you today is because, as we now understand, plants have a way to talk to our cells. So if our cells have any damage and that plant has a healing property to it, when you consume that plant's stem cell or its natural like communication system that are between cells are going to talk to your cells. Anything that is dead or damaged the body has to either heal it or get rid of it. And that's what they found out. That's what they found out can happen when you eat the right plants. And there are specific plants that we're eating, right? That do specific things. And that's where I'm going to show you, because we're going to go down the rabbit hole. I want to understand better what they know. Here we go. All right, so we're looking at Anna Aslan. We're just going to go to her Wikipedia. Here we go. So she received a Nobel Peace Prize. She received a Nobel Peace Prize for understanding how to not only locate, extract, and understand how the quantum communication in cells actually works. She won a Nobel Prize for this. In that, she understood anti-aging because she understood how plants could talk to our cells to make them age in reverse, because it was getting rid of the damaged and dead cells. Are you following so far, right? Only have a few minutes. She died in 1988. Okay. Romanian biologist, physician, a partial Armenian descent. She was born in Brelia and died in Bucharest. Her specialty is gerontology. Let's see. She's known for her invention of Gerbitol. Anybody who took Gerbitol? Gerbitol is an anti-aging treatment. In the United States, FDA bans Gerbitol H3 from interstate commerce as an unapproved drug since 1982, has been prohibited in importation. So you can't even take Gerbitol anymore. I wonder what was wrong with it. Let's see. Let's see her research. That's what we're looking for. And then we're going to go to her Nobel Prize. Graduated from the Faculty of Medicine in 1922, she began working with Daniel Opolu, who advised her doctoral thesis. She obtained a, let's see, get a little closer. There we go. I'm right in here. She found out how to extract cells from plants. She found the fountain of youth in cells. Okay, here we go. So after graduating from the Faculty of Medicine in 1922, she began working with Daniel Opolu, who supervised her doctoral thesis. She obtained her MD degree in cardiovascular physiology in 1924. She was popping in 1924, y'all. Her focus was on physiology and the process of aging. Got it. While experimenting on the effects of procaine that it had on arthritis, Aslan discovered other beneficial effects of this drug, procaine. Okay. It was this discovery that led to a 3-year study and eventual invention of her drug called Gerbitol. Okay, H3, which she prescribed for the effects of aging. With hesitation from fellow scientists that Gerbitol was a fountain of youth, Aslan kicked off a research study to prove the results. Over a period of 2 years, blood samples were taken from 15,000 people, who, with some of them receiving Gerbitol and some receiving a placebo. 40% of the people who took Gerbitol had less sick leave days, and mortality rate from the flu epidemic was 13% in the placebo patients, while only 2.7 in the patients who took the drug. We're going to do that number again. We're going to go run that back one more time. 40% of the people who took Gerbitol had less sick leave days, And mortality rate from the flu epidemic was 13% in the placebo patients, while being only 2.7% in patients who took the drug. I don't know if y'all just heard what I said. Listen, I see people popping in and I see people popping out, but I know my viewers do watch my replay. So I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you this. Because if I don't do anything else with my lives, if I don't share this type of information, I'm no good. This ain't about any kind of money. This is about me sharing some information with you that you can now go do something with, right? If you can understand something very simple in this, it is going to be what you eat matters, okay? It's also going to be what you need is in front of you, and you don't need prescriptions and a doctor to tell you that your body will do better with the right nutrition. Now, if you think something is wrong with what I said, I'm going to ask that you do not make a comment on this video, that you excuse yourself and exit stage left. If you have a problem with me telling people that eating the proper vegetables is always going to be better for you than consuming any type of meat or anything like that, the reason why is right here in front of you. If I don't share anything else with anybody else, it's going to be this. They did not give this woman, again, if you hear what I'm saying, a woman in 1924, she received honors. And even after that, she was receiving honors up until her death, okay? Because she took time to go and research cells. A woman, she got her degree in 1924 in cardiovascular physiology. Her research focus was on physiology. If you understand anything about anatomy and physiology, anatomy is the actual tissue. Physiology is how does the tissue function, okay? When anyone goes to college and they want to study any type of medicines or they want to get into any type of physical doctorate, you want to be anything that has to do with being a physician, a assistant, a nurse, anything. You got to take anatomy and physiology. This woman was studying physiology back in 1924, and she understood then that if you give people the right nutrition, that you can stop either a disease or you can stop the death of a cell. Are you following what I'm saying? And you can go look her up right now yourself, Anna Aslan. You can look her up right now. These are her awards. She got a Merit of International Academy of Science, Munich, and the first co-president. Okay, that was a part. She was a part of the. She was a member of the International Academy of Science. It was in Munich, and she was the first co-president. She got a Cross of Merit, the first class of Order of Merit in Germany, 1971. The Cavalier de la Nouvelle Europe. It's a prize Oscar, Italy, 1973. Let's see. She was an honorary foreign citizen and honorary professor of science in Philippines, 1978. What I'm telling you is this lady has not only the accolades, but she has the distinct honor in not only where she's from, but other countries. Here's why. She was able to understand how to cut the epidemics. Why am I telling you this? Let's get into it. Let's go over her legacy for just a second. Anna Aslan was considered a pioneer of social medicine. Years after becoming a head of the physiology department in the Institute of Endocrinology of Bucharest, she founded the Institute of Geriatrics in Bucharest. Anna Aslan in 1959 organized the Romanian Science Society of Gerontology and Geriatrics. The Romanian Society of Gerontology was the first in the world to channel its research into clinic, experimental, social researches, and devised a therapeutic strategy to prevent the process of aging and organize a national health network for the prevention of aging. Her drug was used by many famous politicians, celebrities around the world, including JFK. Do you want to know what they was taking? Do you want to know what they were taking? This is what they were taking. There was 50 years of research into this product. How do I know? Let me go on and take you over to the site. We're at New Extracts. The company that owns New Extracts is called Advanced Biologics. Advanced Biologics was a part of the massive technology in European science. Do you see my connection where I'm going now? Anna Aslan, brilliant mind, brilliant woman. The mind behind this product. I've been taking this product since February of 2022. 2022? Yes, 2022. It says our focus encompasses stem cell therapy with no side effects using plant technology studied by an European science team for 50 years. They talking about Anna Aslan right there. For 50 years, they studied this. It says our proven methods of combined partial extracts of quantum nutrition, plants that are food to the body, allow inside and out, outside and in transformation for the corpus novus, a new body. By stimulating new stem cells, one begins to elevate the amount of new stem cell activity, counteracting the old age dying cells. This is what Anna was studying. How does plant nutrition interact with the human body cells, whether it's alive or whether it's already dead? Now, hear me out. You are either alive, you are either living, or you are dead. You are either living or you are dead. You are either living or you are dead. Did I say that enough? Did somebody catch it? You are either living or you are dead. If you are walking around depressed, you are dead. If you're walking around eating poorly, you are dead. If you're walking around and you have negative self-talk all the time, you're dead. If you are walking around and you don't have healthy living lifestyles, you have poor sexual contact with people, you're dead. If you are out here and you have malice and angst and you have spite in your heart, you're dead. I want to tell you why. Because it takes away from your cells having proper function. And you begin to age very, very fast. And when you begin to age, that means you are rapidly dying. It just may not be appearing yet. And so be very mindful and be very careful how you treat yourself. And you have to understand that there is a reason why they have received a Nobel Peace Prize. And there's a reason why they studied this information for 50 years. And let's go back. Let's connect the product. I got to connect you with the product because, see, you know, listen, I'm not going to get on here putting a whole bunch of, makeup on. I'm not going to get on here trying to impress you personally. Let me be honest with everybody. Like, I am not here to impress nobody. I'm here to live the most fantastic life that I could ever conjure for myself. And in that, I need to do well. In my doing well, it is to go seek knowledge and do well with that knowledge. Meaning, if I can find value in that knowledge and I can transfer it and I can impart it to someone and they do something with that knowledge, I can teach someone. That's what that means. I can teach someone now. So I'm teaching you here this information because I was able to use it and find value in it. The value in this information is we're going to pinpoint this particular system. We watched the video and we didn't talk about Anna. And now we're going to connect all of it all together, right? Here we go. 40% of the people who took Gervatol had less sick leave days, and the mortality rate from the flu epidemic was 13% in placebo patients, while only being 2.7% in the patients who took the drug, right? With the pharmacist named Elena Polo, I don't mean to disrespect it, but listen, honey, I can't say it. So, hey, they invented another drug named, let's see, Azlavital, which is a similar drug to Gervatol aimed to delay the skin aging process. Y'all ready to go look and see what these are? Here we go. The spray that the celebrities and the presidents were taking is this product. Why are we just seeing this product? Why are we just now seeing it? Because y'all heard the video, right? Did we catch the video? I'll go back to it. Queen Elizabeth, she didn't want us taking it. So they really couldn't release it until Queen Elizabeth got up out of here. Why? Because we might outlive her. We just might outlive her. And we did. But now we got to know how to get ourselves clean. Now we got to know how to get our bodies right. Because we should be doing things that we weren't able to do at a period in time
and I am
that now we can
mad.
do.
Why?
Here we go.
They're poisoning our children. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. I can't keep quiet about this. Do you know that the United States ranks 49th in average life expectancy in the world?
That's pitiful.
Do you know that 75% of Americans have chronic disease?
Heart disease.
And only 50 years
diabetes,
ago, it was
high blood
1%.
pressure, all of it. It's crazy.
74% of all Americans are overweight. 50% of our children are overweight. 50% of Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And 1 out of every 3 children are diabetic or pre-diabetic. What is happening? Where is all this coming from? Do you know that the same scientists that sold us the lie that tobacco was safe or even healthy? I mean, they never mentioned how addictive it was. Do you think they knew? Do you think that was part of their plan to sell more? Well, those same scientists are now working for the food industry. Do you think they might be adding addictive, toxic chemicals so that we can just eat and eat and eat and eat and then go buy more?
No, they're
It's
being
certainly
bought.
not
They're being
about
bought.
our health or our children's
They're testing
health.
chemicals on
It's
us.
about their
They're
bottom
being bought.
line. I used to actually believe that all of our products had been tested for safety. Don't we have agencies that are supposed to do that? Do you have any idea how many thousands of chemicals are allowed in our food and our products that have never been tested? And how many of these chemicals are there to reduce their costs at the expense of our family's health? Look at some simple examples like food dyes, which are actually banned
Red
in
40.
Europe and many other countries, not ours. Yellow dye, petroleum product, which is associated with depression, autoimmune disease, and ADHD. Who do you know that has that? Red dye is another petroleum product. This shouldn't be in our body. It's associated with hyperactivity in children and increased
Those
cancer
chemicals
risk. They're in our
interact.
children's
They know the
cereals
same
and
science.
candies and practically every product that we put in our bodies or put on our skin. And those are only 2 of thousands. Chemicals, preservatives, toxic fillers. That's in everything that doesn't come straight from.
Hear me out. The same studies that they won the new Nobel Peace Prize for are the same studies used by the governments to create weapons. The same studies. That's why they get Nobel Prizes, because they're able to use it amongst so many agencies for a reason. And in that, understanding how a cell actually works and how they communicate, understanding how a plant cell talks to the human cell and talks to the human cell in order for the human cell to regenerate, a plant cell talking to a human cell, telling it to shed anything that is dead or dying or decaying, a plant cell telling a human cell to regenerate, regrow, repurpose itself. If it has the ability to do that and they understand the science of that, why wouldn't they understand the science of how chemicals, how pesticides, herbicides, how different chemicals that are man-made interact with our cells as well? Because they already got the science. They already got the science. So now it's how can they form something to see how the body responds to it. And if you go look now, you can go look at the CDC, the Centers for Disease. Those are Centers for Disease and Control, isn't it? I was a senior at Wichita State University. Go Shocks. That is my first alma mater. Wichita State, what we had a study in psychology. I had a professor who really was an engineer. Why she was teaching psychology, I have no reason to understand why. However, she was also the teacher of our research class. So how she taught us to approach research was not just how psychologists approach research. She taught us how to approach research as an engineer. She taught us how to approach research in the sense of not only are we trying to look for, is it true? We're also trying to find or can see where it is false. We're able to see in a bigger picture, because when we're able to communicate how things need to be fixed or where some solutions can be placed, we are able to see it from the sight of an engineer, not just psychologist. She was badass. Dr. Z, I will forever be grateful for Dr. Z. They don't know who they had. They sent her on to, I want to say, Texas, the Longhorns. Phenomenal, phenomenal educator. But this is what I learned. She had us research the Tuskegee experiment. As a Black woman from Mississippi, you know I went all the way in on that and got an A on that assignment, baby. Because you wasn't going to give me that and me not do no due diligence to any ancestor on what they had been through and understanding why they did it. It wasn't just that they tested these airmen. It wasn't just that they infiltrated a whole town/county with a disease. It wasn't just that. You have to understand there was a purpose and a reason, and there was a justification to them to do an unethical research like that. It had to be justifiable to them for a reason. Well, interestingly enough, they given out Nobel Peace Prizes in similar time frames because they're having people research how the cells in the body communicate. Excuse me, somebody, am I by myself in this rabbit hole? Because it's getting kind of quiet. They had this research for a reason, and they testing different cells to do different things under duress for different reasons. Can you follow me? And they were specifically choosing demographics for specific reasons because they understood how a cell functions. And not just any cell. They understood plant cells. They understand animal cells. They understand even grains and stone cells. They understand the cells. They trying to date us. That's really what it was. But they trying to crack open the cells. But let me tell you something. Where they find information, they had to do something with it. We got her legacy right here. And I'm connecting it all for you. Here we go. She is the first in the world to channel its, the Romanian Society of Gerontology was the first in the world to channel its research into clinic, experimental, and social researches. Did you hear what I said? Social researches. Tuskegee experiment. Okay. Social researchers. Okay. Devise a therapeutic strategy to prevent the process of aging. They were taking those cells from those sick individuals that they compromised for a reason. They were studying those cells for a reason. That's a different rabbit hole, but we're going to keep going. Her drug was used by many famous politicians, celebrities around the world, including John F. Kennedy. Now, they had a range of cosmetics, right? They had a range of them. It says it right here. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you something because here we go. Over a period of 2 years, blood samples were taken from 15,000 people, with some of them receiving the Gerbitol and some receiving the placebo. Okay, so we're talking about a product I just told you where they were studying the blood at, how she's a cardiovascular physiologist. She's studying the blood. Physiology, it's the function of the organ. It's not about just the organ and the structure. It's about the function of an organ. So she's looking at cells and the function of cells. That's what physiology is. She's looking at the cells. You have muscle cell, have different cells that are put together to make the muscle. That's why you have different densities in your bone and your muscle. You have different density in fat and muscle. You have a different density in your veins and in your arteries or your vesicles. You have different densities to this. There's different cells that make them up. They're studying these cells. Let's dive right back into it. This is the product that they are doing, and we're going to go into why. But let's still dive into this technology because they understand stem cells now. When we start talking about quantum cells, we got to talk about stem cells. The science has already established and well documented that the nutrition is key to enhancing the blood. I just connected you on why she was studying the blood. She was trying to stop the aging of blood. Why would Queen Elizabeth want the aging of blood to stop? Are you really going down the rabbit hole with me or what? Why would Queen Elizabeth want to know how to get blood to stop aging? Why would they want to know if they put a flu out, how will it spread and who can fight the flu? Why would they need to know where certain bloodlines are at? Are you seeing where I'm going? Science has already established and well documented that the nutrition is the key to enhancing the blood and therefore is one's life. The quantum nutrition that stimulates stem cell activity, the quantum nutrition that stimulates stem cell activity, this quantum nutrition that stimulates stem cell activity is the new direction for the chance at a longer life. Through many tests and studies, the chance at a longer life stems from three main components. 1, you need to have open and clean veins. 2, you have to have open and clean arteries. 3, you have to have open and clean lymph nodes, a lymphatic system, to fight infection and diseases more efficiently. Did you hear what it said? Through many tests and many studies, they broke it down into three main components. In life, if you don't do nothing else in life, if you focus on having open and clean veins, no drugs, not a lot of alcohol, don't compromise your vein system. Don't make your blood too thick that it can't get through your veins. 2, open and clean arteries. When your heart is pumping, it doesn't need any blockages. 3, open and clean lymph nodes. Your lymphatic system is the waterworks system in your body. If you can't sweat, if you can't urinate, if you can't defecate, if you can't digest, your lymphatic system will back up on you and you'll go septic. Being septic means you are not able to fight an infection or a disease. You have to have open and clean veins, open and clean arteries, open and clean lymph nodes. Those three things in combination is what makes a healthy body. Continuous and consistent daily use is necessary to create an environment of stimulating new stem cell activity. Let me break this down and why. It's upside down. They use PEC technology. PEC technology means partial extract combinations, which basically involves 40 identified plants that are good for the body. This secret formula has been designed. They have researched which plants talk to the sun better than others. That's the secret. And they got 5 Nobel Peace Prizes in science with research and development dating all the way back to World War I, based off of how they identified quantum cellular behavior. How do stem cells communicate with other stem cells? Are you hearing me? Think about yourself on a macro scale. We're talking about a micro scale right now, but let's talk about ourselves in a macro on a macro level, right? If we talk about ourselves in a macro level, that's how do I communicate to you? How do you communicate to me? We communicate in different ways. We communicate through verbiage, through words. We can communicate through eyesight. We can communicate through body language. We can communicate in writing. We can communicate with our telepathy. Black folks can give folks, we give each other a look. We understand what it is when we give each other certain looks. We ain't got to talk about it. We already know. We already know what time it is most times when we look at each other in certain ways in certain instances. And depending on the context, we know how to talk to each other easily without using language in some points, right? Well, they studied the quantum level of cells. How do cells talk to each other? What ways do they do that? And in that, they got 5 Nobel Prizes. 5 of them. So that means they did some deep level research. Right? Are we following? Let's keep going. They have computer-driven technology products gaining 5 Nobel Prizes. Hold on. Now, that's where we get interested for real. Now we really gonna go down in the rabbit hole. All right, so we know it's Anna Aslan, right? So it sounds like it's the computer technology that is what got them their Nobel Prize, right? But what did that computer technology do? Because I would imagine, right, if their computer technology at that time was this advanced, right, there must be something that they're really studying now. And it is good for us to understand at least the most simplest things of what should we really be putting in our body. Because if we have to have our telomeres, which we'll get into that, our telomeres come on, it's important to know why our telomeres are going to come on. Okay? So let me show you my Facebook real quick. This is my Facebook. My name is Latoriea Q. If you have not followed me, please do. But I want to show you something that I recently posted, right? Here we go. It says, did you know your telomeres are like the tips of shoelaces? When they wear down, so do your cells. iHercules supports telomere length naturally and using exclusive plant-based extracts. Okay, you're going to live longer, live stronger. So let's talk about it. I want to show you real close up. So when we look at, this is basically a mitochondria, okay? And on the end of this is a telomere. A telomere is the light code or how light codes communicate with each other. So another cell is going to pull up to this cell looking just like this. And these cells on the end, they're going to talk to each other. They're going to send either little waves of electricity or they're going to be magnetized to each other and they're going to connect. They're either going to speak to one another or they're going to connect with one another and they're going to form a bigger bond of whatever it is, right? Okay, so let's say they're going to communicate with each other. Let's say one is plant and one is human cell. Well, that plant stem cell and that human stem cell, they're going to connect and talk. Well, if this human cell has been worn down and this human cell isn't able to communicate well, it is either defective, diseased, or it's dead. It just happens to not have been discarded by the body yet. But if this one's coming in and this one is a plant telomere, right? And it's long and it's really ready to function, it's clean, it's powerful, it's healthy, right? It's going to talk to this short one because the short one doesn't have enough juice to really say much more than this one can. So if you have healthy plant, if you have plant technology, right, where they have extracted 44 plants extracts, if I'm saying, let me get it together, let me not tongue tie, 44 plant extracts. They've extracted the highest quantum cell, which is the stem cell, to talk to your cell. And it talks to your cell by locating, isolating, and extracting anything that is dying or dead, or it is helping something heal in the way that it should. You would want that in your body because you want your cells to look like this cell, healthy, vibrant, healed. Why is that important? Because it's going to help you have open and clean veins, open and clean arteries, open and clean lymph nodes, which is in a sense going to give you a longer life because you're able to not only fight off infections and diseases effectively, but you're able to heal and live longer. Your blood is clean. It takes 120 days to have clean blood. 120 days. Thank y'all for watching. I so appreciate it. I want to share this with you, and then I'm getting off of here. I want to share with you that I'm not just looking for customers. You can go onto the site. The website is in the link there, in the title there. You can go and purchase and be a customer. I appreciate you for that. I thank you for that because you are going to be doing yourself a favor. You can reverse your biological age up to 30 years. That's what they found out in their research, that you can reverse your biological age up to 30 years. You are only having half of your stem cells active right now, especially if you are over the age of 30 years old. In that, if you get up to age 60, you have very few stem cells that are active, that are youthful, that are, able to heal the body. That's why you age faster and faster the older you get. However, if you are able to use any type of nutrition technology that delivers those stem cells directly into your bloodstream, this is what I'm telling you right now, that they studied the information that I'm sharing with you right now, that you can use plant technology, you can use plant nutrition to reverse age yourself. And the product that they used, Queen Elizabeth, it even told you JFK. If you know JFK took it, you know Jackie Onassis took it. And if Jackie Onassis took it, you know any woman that was in the world of Hollywood or Hollyweird even, they were taking something to reverse age themselves because they knew amongst themselves things that the regular population didn't know. Still to this day, it's the same thing. They keep information to themselves. This particular product was released out into the market in 2021. 2021. Here's where it may help with. It may help with your telomere support. It may help with new cells that can live longer. It may increase your stamina, increase endurance, enhance cognitive abilities, help you with faster muscle growth, faster recovery, better skin and nails. I don't even cut my nails anymore, honey. I've always had nice nails, but I was like, I'm not cutting my nails no more. My hair began to grow so much faster. It's because of the plant nutrition that this is basically stimulating your cells to be active. This is stimulating your cells to basically heal, reverse its age. not die so fast. That's what it's doing. It's allowing that cell to live younger and to live more effectively, being that you can feel better, I have had better mood, better energy. I don't deal with pain in the way that I used to deal with pain. It's important that I share this information with you simply because I just feel like, listen, it's almost like if you know something is good for somebody and you don't tell them, you're carrying around, or I carry around this level of I could be doing better. I could really be doing better. I don't have to go on live and be goofy. I don't have to go on live and share things that I, feel like I like about my private life. I don't have to do, but if I do go on live and I do share anything, the thing that I would want to share is how can people live longer? How can people have a healthier life? How can people, not deal with unnecessary pain, heart conditions, um, diabetes, high blood pressure? Somebody asks my dad all the time, do you take this? Do you take this? And he has to say no. Sometimes people will be unwilling to listen, even if they're your own family. But if I could share with anybody how to help themselves, you help yourself by one, trying this. I'm gonna be honest, just try this. You can help yourself by at least trying for 120 days to see what it feels like to have your blood clean. And doing that, if you do if you do see the value in having clean blood and you see the return, and yes, you did have reverse agent. Yes, you do have a glow to your skin. Yes, you had some wrinkles go away. Yes, you've had a better digestive system. Yes, you're not craving anything. You begin to lose weight. You're more active. You had your veins open up. You feel vibrant. If you have good side effects, keep going. But if you don't see the value, at least you cleansed your blood one time for 120 days. That's what I want to share. So I'm going to go through this ingredient list because nothing in here is crazy or unheard of. Siberian ginseng, astragalus, Damanea, how do you say that? Damania, Foti, alfalfa, wild celery, anise, lemon balm, basil, greater burdock, celery, dill, hyssop, juniper, rockweed, fennel, ginger, cola natita, marjoram, grape mullein. That's good for your lungs. Abyssinian myrrh, parsley, dog rose, rosemary, saffron crocus, sage, elder, tea plant, garden thyme, turmeric, verbena, white willow, black cherry, yarrow, garlic, artichoke, motherwort, hop, red raspberry, hawthorn, elecampane, fennel bulb, centauri herb, and food grade ethanol. That's what's in this. That's what's in this. All of these particular plants, right? Because some of them are roots, some of them are herbs, some of them are flowers, some of them are fruits, right? All of these have a component in them where their stem cell talks to your stem cell. And in that, the medicinal property to it speaks to your stem cell to help it reverse age. If you're just joining me, I appreciate you for joining me. But I'm just going through what they studied, why they studied it, what they used their studies for, and why you should understand that they knew you needed to clean the blood for a reason. They know we should have clean blood for a reason. They wanted to have clean blood, but not tell us how to keep our blood clean. Who is the they? Let's call them out by name. The British royal bloodline. They funded the research. They put the money up for the research. They held on to the research. But it wasn't until old Queen Elizabeth got up out of here that they really wanted to release the research. They were giving Nobel Prizes because they were using it. They used it and they tested us. They tested our cells in many of different kinds of ways on a positive and on a negative level, because here's how we're going to go look at it. We can go look at it in black and white. And they told us how they studied it. They studied it during a flu epidemic. They studied it. They telling us in our face that they studied the cells, the aging of cells. They telling us how they studied it. They telling us who used it. John F. Kennedy, see here clear, right? You see it? You see it? JFK, right? Used this particular product. She, along with the Romanian Society of Gerontology, was the first in the world to channel its research into the clinic, experimental and social researchers. They devised a therapeutic strategy to prevent the process of aging. Why? They organized a national health network for the prevention of aging. Why? Now we're going to talk about JFK. We got to understand, what did JFK know about cells? Because y'all don't stumble onto people, y'all don't stumble onto research, and y'all don't stumble onto studies for no reason. They don't do it for no reason. Again, if I tell you why I know this, if you're just joining me, my name is Latoriea Q. I'm a proud graduate of Wichita State University in community psychology. The reason why I understand community psychology so well is because JFK said, if you want to go not into politics, but if you want to know how to help your fellow man, you need to go into community psychology. I wanted to understand not only my own people, my demographic of people, my spiritual people, my physical people. I wanted to understand people, but I wanted to understand how the function of a people, how they operate in a society. Hence, again, my story, when I told you I was studying, my professor that I had for semesters, right? She really wasn't a psychology professor. She was an engineering professor, a doctorate in engineering. And let me also add, she's a Persian woman. She's not from the United States. She was a Persian woman. And so when she had us do our studies in psychology, I didn't get to study how things function in a school setting. I got to study how did the Tuskegee Airman experiment not only affect the community, but what was the purpose of it on a social research level? Because why would you need to give human beings syphilis to see how it spreads? Why would you need to give anybody any sickness or disease and see how it spreads when you know at the end of the day, without treatment, it is 100% fatality? You telling me a government would do that on people for no reason at all? You telling me no, they doing that for no absolute none reason at all, for the sake of just doing an unethical experiment? No, honey. No, honey. We're going to dig down deep and figure it out. The Romanian Society of Gerontology was the first in the world to channel its research into clinic, experimental, and research studies. You know, when they gave the men syphilis, they had to get the swabs and send them somewhere. And you know, they did not send it to anywhere in the United States because it was unethical. It was an unethical study. So you got to go where the best in the world are able to do the study. Hence, welcome, Miss Anna Aslan. Miss Anna Aslan, who led these teams, was given a Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize was given to them for the computer technology that they use to extract the stem cells from plants to see how it interacted with the human body cell, specifically blood. Specifically blood. And in that, 15,000 people they did a study on. Some receiving Gerbitol, some receiving a placebo. 40% of them who took the Gerbitol, which means they gave them a specific drug to see how it communicated with the cells, right? 40% of them who took it, of the 15,000 people, they had less sick days. And there was a mortality rate that they looked at. It was from the flu epidemic, specifically the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu. 13% of them had mortality that had the placebo. 2.7% in them who had the drug, they didn't die. Excuse me, did I say that right? The mortality rate from the flu epidemic was 13%. So 13% of the 15,000 died. 2.7% of them died, the ones that took the drug. So less people died who took the drug. Less people died who took those who took the drug, less of them died. That's what it's saying. It's giving it to you in its proper statistical format. But in the end, that's what it's saying. Of the 15,000 people, 13% of them died. 2.7% of them who took the drug, they died. 40% of the people took the drug. 60% of the people took the placebo. Are you following? More people who didn't take the drug died. So they successfully could say it is true that Gerbitol helped people have less sick days, and it's absolutely true that people who take this particular type of drug lived longer or did not die. That is the truth. They did not die. Less people died. They can't say that they lived longer. They did not die. That's what the study came down to. So they were able to start separating the different cells, specifically looking at human blood cells. Specifically. Here's where we get real deep with it. It's these particular plants that do the most talking. These particular plants do the most communicating with your cells. How do I know? Because again, we just connected Anna to the research. World War I, and the Spanish flu. It was from 1918 to 1920. Royal families sought out top scientists to help discover things in nature that would help protect the body and mind through better nutrition. They looked at the blood specifically. Through their research, the science teams discovered that there was 10,000 things in nature, but only 400 of them would benefit the human body. Let's go back through that one more time. Pause. That's a moment for pause. Through their research, the science teams discovered that there were 10,000 things in nature, but only 400 of these things were a benefit for the human body. That means there are very specific things in nature that we can use to benefit our body to heal. There's a lot of things out there that won't help us, but of the things that will help us, it's very specific to 400 things, 400 different types of plants, 400 different types of elements that help us heal. Later, through the 1950s, many Nobel Prizes were awarded for the discovery of the role of nutrition and oxygen in the body. Y'all know this is my lane. This is my alley. Welcome to iLift Bodyworks and Sculpting, where I have an oxygen bar where I do therapeutic touch therapy and therapeutic manual labor. Excuse me, manual labor. Manual manipulation. I talk to people every single day about why they need to have a good lymphatic system. I talk to people every single day about why you need good oxygen. I talk to people every single day, and I'm sharing it here with you right now. This is why you have to take nutrition and oxygen very serious. Up until 1950, when the brilliant physician Anna Aslan, there she go, and her team made significant advancements in their study on anti and reverse aging possibilities. Now that's the first time they didn't threw that word in there. We didn't talk about anti-aging, but now we're going to talk about reverse aging. Through their studies beginning in 1973. Okay, 1973 is where iHercules begins. 1973. Who was taking iHercules back in 1973? Who that is? Who was that? Who was taking it in 1973? No, he was dead by then. I think he was dead. When did he die? When did JFK die? He died in 1963. Okay, I'm about to say, no. He was the president. Yeah, he died in 1963. Okay. How do we find his connection? Let's see. We finna find his connection, honey. Oh, yes. Okay. He was a U.S. representative. He was in the U.S. Senate. Honey, you might be a part of the missing little link here. Where we at? All right. So Kennedy was sworn into office in 1961. Okay. Where does he connect to Romania at? That's what I want to know. How does he connect to Romania? That's just a very simple question. I would like to know. We're looking for Romania to pop out at us. Matter of fact, I might even keep it simple for myself. Control F. Okay, well, we're going to go find out. I don't care. John F. Kennedy in Romania. Oh, okay. Let's just start with the first one. That's not what you can do for your country, but here we go. So this is a recording of a meeting held in August 21st, 1963 between John F. Kennedy, Special Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs, McGeorge Bundy, Minister of the United States in Bucharest, Legation, William Crawford. They discussed the Romanian economy, Romanian relationship with the Soviet USSR, Chinese communists, and the Romanian standard of living. That may be an interesting point. He was interested in the Romanian standard of living. Please note that the President Kennedy also takes brief telephone calls with the Attorney General Robert Kennedy, which is his brother, right, on family matters, and with Franklin D. Roosevelt Jr. Only President Kennedy's side of this telephone conversation can be heard. This sound recording has been excerpted from tape 106, which contains additional sound recording. Okay, thank you for joining me. I am down a deep rabbit hole today. I'm talking about having microcirculation nutrition. Let me make sure that I have this not too close. This is microcirculation nutrition. Okay, So the reason why we're down the rabbit hole is because now we understand that the British royal family had ordered the study of anti-aging, specifically the blood anti-aging. Okay. And this had started in I'm assuming the 1920s, because she started her studies in the 1924, right? So this is over 100 years ago. So hold the fuck up. Excuse me. So, Queen Elizabeth was alive in 19... Nah, nigga, nah. Hold on. We're going to go... Sorry, y'all. I'm having moments, like I said. Queen Elizabeth. Girl, when you was born, I want to know. Child, this is about to put on. So Queen Elizabeth was born in the 1900 flat even. Y'all got to get it. We don't want to know about Cecilia Boyles. Okay. Who is this woman? Okay, this must have... Yeah, that's her mama. Because I'm like, no, that ain't her. Okay. I was like, that ain't that. No, not that, the Queen Mother. But at least we see it now, right? The Queen Mother was born in 1900 and she died in 2002. But we trying to get to Queen Elizabeth, okay? Our phone is about to die. So I'm going to wrap this up. But I'm going down my little hole here, okay? So here's why this is important to me. I don't know if you made it this far during this and on this journey. However, if y'all can recall, just bear with me for a moment. If y'all can recall, this is my remembrance of Queen Elizabeth. And look, she died in 2022. Remember, I told you this product was released in 2022. I'm telling y'all, there's science to this. If you have made it this far in this video, I bear you just make a comment in the video and say, I heard you, I follow you. Queen Elizabeth, born in 1926. Her mama was born in 1900. So her mama had her, what, 22? Okay. No, mama had her at 26. Okay. So their concern was how to not die. Their concern was how to have good blood. Bloodline was very important. So they did have the research done to understand how to have a longer life in anti-aging. Romania was the leading channel and the leading team for that level of research. They gave them Nobel Peace Prizes for this research, in that they came up with a nutrition product and they were using it amongst themselves. This nutrition product came out shortly before. I want to say she had already been dead before night. She had already been dead. I don't care what nobody say, because this product came out when she died. And I promise you, there's a reason why having clean blood matters, because you're able to talk on a quantum level when you have clean blood. And that's how they know if we are compromised in our cells, that we are not able to function at our highest capacity on any level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and quantum, metaphysically. So if you have followed me this far and you want to know how to get this, got to go through it really fast. newextracts.com/iLiftForLife1. Go get this. You need a 120-day supply for the first round. You're going to get the 2X pack or 1X pack. You want to go a complete round of cleaning your blood. It is very important. There is a reason why this queen has 70 years on the throne, and her legacy is that she had her jubilee. I think she had the jubilee, but she had the man, what was the name of that birthday party she had? I know my phone's about to die. But she had the celebration of life because she was the longest serving monarch. But they called it a specific type of celebration. she understood things, and I understand she understood things in a way that they didn't want her to understand because she was a woman. But she went and she found the information out anyway, and she used it to her advantage. That's why she could connect with even Halassie's Selassie, is that right? The king of, give me a second, Ethiopia. That's why she was the only queen to bow to him. There was knowledge, and we are going to discover what we need to discover because they knew something that they didn't want us to know, and that is that your cells can communicate on a higher frequency when it is clean, meaning you got open and clean veins, you have open and clean arteries, you have open and clean lymphatic system. All right, y'all. It's Latoriea Q. Peace.